So we fixed the offline play with the weather. Now, unfortunately, that doesn't translate across to online, as those settings are given out by the online server. So typically, if you're setting up a race in a server, this is the kind of interface that you would get. And of course, in this, you end up with the sole definitions for weather. So what we need to do is go to the content tab here and go to weather. And here we have the normal sort of sole weather types. This is hosted on Emperor servers. Okay, now what you can do is go on to custom rain presets. Now typically in here this is blank as default, but if you go back to this, the URL here, we have the online server-side settings, which is this Google Doc, which brings you onto this. So this is the matrix of the settings that are required. So track wetness, rain intensity, and track water. We've got some notes here to kind of give you an idea of what tyres are suitable for what conditions. This is the CSP stuff, which we kind of recommend you would use. And down here is a whole load of notes on everything and what everything is doing. So you can change physics settings, and it describes how cars with aero handle things and weight handles things and all this kind of stuff. But this is the main part that we need to be interested in, is this sort of table here. Okay, so you can see custom rain presets, and what we can do is, I've got all mine entered in, but I'll show you how to enter one now, just to show you how to set it up. So you do add custom rain preset. Okay, thunderstorm. Okay, and then over on this chart here, light thunderstorms, they want track wetness 0.05, rain intensity 0.15, and track water is 0.55. Okay, so and that's it. Add custom preset, and you can carry on and add each one of these in. Okay, so then eventually what you end up with is a whole load of settings like this. So we've even got one here for just puddles, so there's no rain, but just a bit of track wetness and track water. So have noticed that these seem to cause crashes on certain tracks, certain servers, certain conditions. So use with caution. It seems to be a case of if you drive across a puddle, you get a black screen, and the error logs says puddle contains no data. So I don't know. Most of the time it works, but there are issues. Remember, the rain isn't strictly finished in Assetto Corsa, it's still beta and probably always will be. Okay, so these are all the different wetness and track conditions. And once you've entered all them and saved them, that's all you need to do. Right, okay, so then if we the main screen. Okay, so then if we go back to where you're setting your race up, okay, and you go down to weather. I'll see here I've got loads of different weather set on this server, which is sort of cycling around. This is one of the test ones. Okay, add a weather. Okay, so on the top here is a graphic setting which allows you to set the weather by you would normally. So say set that to light thunderstorm, and that'll give you the graphics of light thunderstorm. Obviously you've got all the time duration and things like that. I'm not going to go into all those. But now down here on the Emperor servers we have this custom rain preset, and this allows us to go back in and choose something else. So based on weather, that will give the default sole values, which are, as we know, incorrect. But instead, we can select one of our others that we've entered, so like thunderstorm, And then what that will do is that will use the new values that we've set in the weather system, and those will kind of match the offline values. So everything sort of handles correctly. You can then set up your wind speeds and base speeds and all that kind of stuff as per normal. Okay, you're going to want to use a minimum CSP version, certainly a preview version, and you're going to want to use something after 1.80. You know, it's the later is kind of the better. The last couple maybe got some issues, but for the most part, yeah, use the latest ones. And then down here in your server settings, you just want to set this up so you can actually set the intensity higher or lower, things like that. Okay, but that is basically the crux of it. What you need to do is just to make sure that you set this one. If you don't, and you end up using this the default, then it will go back to handling like crap. Okay, so don't use based on weather, use your new definition. Okay, that's for anybody that's using Pure. You really need to have everybody connecting using Pure, not Sol. Sol in bin. Okay, that's really it. Okay, you online the players don't need the offline fix and vice versa. The two different systems are exclusive, so if it's not going to make any difference if you haven't downloaded the patch and put that in. It just makes the odds is what CSP version you've got really. As for free roam servers, not quite the same options available at the moment. In looking at sort of common ways that people would do this, this doesn't have the same kind of weather parameter settings in it. Okay, you can upload the weather presets, but it doesn't have the ability to put in other settings to it. The only thing I think that possibly can work on this at the moment is in the CSP extra options is that we set the intensities down to something like this, about 0.04% of what it should be, and that should, I think, get the values somewhere right. Haven't actually tested it, haven't driven it, don't know. Don't quote me on that one. Might be completely wrong. So that's still a work in progress. These things may change if we can get people on the development sides to add some extra bits and pieces in. But yeah, that's really all you need to do. So you just need to put all this information from this chart into your server. This is a bit of extra fun stuff if you want to add sort of some puddles, but like I say, there are some notes here, and it does say about the crashing. And some of the sort of results has been tested by multiple people, multiple tracks. Yeah, and it all works. It works pretty well. So give it a go. This is the online. There's an offline. Yeah, I think that's it. That's pretty much weather fixed in Assetto. So have a play with it and see how you get on. See you on track.